who said, I don't have one favorite character from The Outsiders, but one of the characters I like most is. And that, I think, is a really good compromise, because sometimes when you are asked for a favorite something or other, it's really just not something you can identify that easily, especially because we're in the first couple chapters of the book. So that favorite may change over time, especially as you learn more about the characters. Does anyone want to share theirs? Ethan, can you take this chair down next to you, and I'll take this one down in front of you. That way I won't be dodging the chair. And I know it's challenging because you're the first group in here, but if we could always just take down all the chairs so no one gets whacked in the head with them, and so that I can see all your faces. Yes?
I have a question. Has any of your students in any school took a chair and threw it at someone?
Only when it's a little off topic, but only when I taught first grade, I had a student who I had to have my class leave the room because he was angry, and he was kind of not throwing desks because he was a first grader. He wasn't that big, but sending them across the room. And actually, I did have someone in Harrisburg do that. Yeah. Unfortunately, people sometimes lose control in there. Can we now let's refocus to discuss it now. You want to share?
Yeah. I think that Soda is he's pretty cool. He's understanding to his younger brother, and he tries to be nice with the ignorance, so that I understand. For example, on page 2, it said that Soda tries to understand at least, which is more than Gary does. And then on page 3, it said, after avoiding those confusions until Gary and Soda talked about our course, they would have just gone with me or given me better. So there's a gun saying he was nice, so he would have done it if he had to. If that was an option at the time.
Right, so unlike how sometimes we feel about our siblings, Ponyboy feels connected to Soda. Ponyboy and Soda Pop, does anyone remember the answer to that? At some point, Ponyboy tells another character something about his name. Gracie.
It was his dad using that Soda Pop, and he doesn't have a certificate, but then his name is like Charles or something, I think.
So is that their actual name?
Curtis, and then his name is Ponyboy.
Yes, and so their last name is Curtis, and their dad liked to give them interesting names. So what's interesting to me is Derry is short for Daryl, so it's not that kind of interesting or different name, whereas Soda Pop, who is the second in the three sons, is obviously an unusual name, as is Ponyboy. So there's something interesting about that, and I feel like there is a reason that S.E. Hinton did that as part of the family dynamics. Does anyone have any ideas as to why Gary's name is kind of this regular name, while Soda Pop and Ponyboy have these other interesting names? Gracie, what do you think?
Maybe like the mom left that. They left together with names, and then she was like the Soda Pop and when she left.
That's a possibility. However, we know something about their history that says that their parents were together. There's something else in it, right? Do you remember what that is? Is he? Okay, interesting. So you think that that S.E. Hinton uses it to indicate something about the character? Elizabeth?
Maybe his mom, like Tracy said, had left after so long, and his dad started to do drugs, and he had it.
So the idea of these more trippy names could come from the use of illicit substances.
Yeah.
That's a possibility, but what do we learn? What do we know about Gary Soda Pop and Pony Boy's parents. Where are they? Why don't we see them? Jason.
They're dead because they died in a car crash.
Yes. They died in a car crash. Do you remember about where that is? It's near the beginning. May I borrow yours?
Yeah, okay.
Oh, thank you. Okay, so if we look, it's in the first few pages. One of the things that's kind of challenging about The Outsiders is we get front-loaded with a lot of information because it's told from Pony Boy's point of view. And he starts to talk about Derry, whose name is Daryl, and he's talking about the difference between socias and greasers. And then he talks about how strict Derry is. So if you look on page 3, we're poorer than socias in the middle class, so he's referring to greasers as a whole. I reckon we're wilder too. Not like the socias who jump greasers and wreck houses and throw beer blasts for kicks and get editorials in the paper for being a public disgrace one day and an asset to society the next. Greasers are almost like hoods. We steal things and drive old souped up cars and hold up gas stations and have a gang fight once in a while. I don't mean I do things like that. Derry would kill me if I got in trouble with the police. Since Mom and Dad were killed in an auto wreck, the three of us get to stay together only as long as we behave. So Soda and I stay out of trouble as much as we can, and we're careful not to get caught when we can't. I only mean that greasers do things like that, just like we wear our hair long and dress in blue jeans and t-shirts, or leave our shirt tails out and wear leather jackets and tennis shoes or boots. I'm not saying that either socias or greasers are better. That's just the way things are. So in a certain respect, the way that Pony Boy tells us that his parents have died in an auto wreck is kind of like, almost like a by the way. You know, he doesn't have like this whole section like, when I was such and such an age, my parents died in an auto wreck, and you know, we expect, like, that's a huge event. I mean, that's obviously, you know, a huge change in his life. But that's not how he tells us. It's almost like a by the way. In the middle of the paragraph, he's talking about the difference between the socias and the greasers, and why he behaves a certain way or limits his behavior because he wants Derry to not get mad at him. Gracie, did you have something?
Yeah. So the first thing about it when they describing the kind of the meaning to me, so kind of just dad then is that kind of like they
Trey Easter, please report to the guidance office. Trey Easter to the guidance office, please. It does sound a lot like the movie Grease.
and then like the salts and like
Socias. It's hard because I went online to look up to make sure that socias was how they were going to pronounce it. It comes from like the socialites, the idea that they're like the upper echelon. Yeah.
And then so it's stand rather than like charity or
Yes. Yes.
I feel like the socials look like a privileged white boy number.
Yeah, I mean, that's the way they're described. They're very preppy, they dress a certain way, they have nice cars, they have nice clothes, you know. And it's one of those things. When I worked in Harrisburg, one of the things that a lot of my students did is there was kind of this standard dress, especially for the guys. The guys always wore white t-shirts and jeans. And one of the reasons I came to discover, there were multiple reasons for this. One, unfortunately, because of the economics there, I had a number of students who were involved in things that were not legal, okay? Straight up, I had some drug deals, right? Mm-hmm. Then I had kids who were not part of that whole scene, who were just regular kids. However, being a black teen walking on the street, we talked about how, like, if you go into a store, sometimes you feel like, you know, if you go to a store and you stand there a while and you're looking at stuff and touching stuff, as a teenager, the security people look at you, they watch you, right?
Yeah, they do.
The people who tend the shops in the mall